Hello everybody, welcome. Let's talk today about the prenuptial agreement. Now, since I'm coaching a lot of ladies, they always ask me, what do I think about prenuptial agreement? And I will tell you what I think, and I will give you reasoning for my thinking, kind of. Now, I'm always all for prenuptial agreement, and you would think that I'm extremely materialistic person, but you will be surprised. I am probably the least materialistic, and everybody who knows me would confirm that. So why am I for prenuptial agreement, right? I will tell you why. Because I believe prenuptial agreement is a contract, and it's much better to have a contract before you will get into some kind of relationship, any kind of relationship. If you watch the movie Some Men Prefer Blondes with Marilyn Monroe, in one of the scenes she had this very interesting monologue. She was talking to her friend, and she said, if a woman has to think about money, she will have no time to love her man. And I love that scene so much. I even have like a short video just cut from that movie. So I always send it to all the ladies that I know. You see, it's all, I am all for love. I am all for connection with men. But I do believe that there must be some kind of boundaries, soft boundaries that are established before any kind of relationship, you see. And usually if a woman is strong in her energy, I mean, she will keep those boundaries, but things change. They change throughout years. You don't know how your energy might change. You might get pregnant, you might have a couple children. Your energy will start fluctuating, and you wouldn't be able to keep those standards. Now, why I think prenuptial agreement is a good thing? Well, because in many cultures there was some kind of contract before two people could get into marriage. And usually that contract was initiated by the family of the bride. So the bride was usually, and I think in some cultures it still exists, so the bride was protected from the start. So before she will even enter the marriage, she already knows. So in case of divorce, this is what I'm getting. In case of once we are married, this is what I'm getting. Maybe somebody, a helper around the house, or maybe the babysitters or something like that. So the wife getting into the relationship, into marriage, she knows that she's protected, and it's not only a promise in words, it's a promise on the paper. And once she's feeling secure and protected, she obviously feels in harmony with herself, and she's more open to to focusing on her feelings when she knows that she's protected. You see, security is our first chakra, our root chakra. And usually that security is given to a woman traditionally by a father, and then by her man, and then by maybe her son or somebody like that. So a woman is always protected by masculinity. Some masculinity in her life. It doesn't have to be, maybe it's her job or something, but traditionally it is like this. So a woman needs to know, her father needs to know that the man that takes her on will provide the same security that he was providing or more. And to ensure that security, the contract was drawn. So usually whether it was a written contract or just a verbal contract, there was some kind of contract between a man and a woman's representative. So usually a father or a brother, somebody, or uncle, so somebody like that. Now, in our world, we live in a masculine society, and there is really nobody to speak up for a woman, so she needs to speak up for herself. And you would think that, oh my God, but this is so materialistic and so not romantic. No, it's not. It has really nothing to do with romanticism or being romantic or not romantic. It has really to do with whether a woman is ready to stand up for herself, whether she's afraid or not afraid to express her standards. You see, if you have strong standards, why would you not voice them? What's wrong with that? If you never ate in McDonald's and somebody is offering you to go eat there, and this is not your place of your place of choice, you would never go there. You wouldn't be afraid to say. So why couldn't you express to a man that loves you and and wants to spend a life with you, why would you be afraid to express your needs? Usually it happens when women are not sure about themselves, when they have a low self-value, low self-worth, and they don't want to be taken as materialistic. But they never will. Believe me, I worked in finance world for almost a decade, and before that I had my own business, so I always was surrounded by wealthy men. I have admirers, I have friends, I know a lot of men, and not one man ever told me that prenuptial agreement is a bad thing. Not one of them. And I actually did the whole not recently, but before, a long time before, I was actually asking everybody, what do you think about the prenuptial agreement? Would you agree if a woman will put her demands into a contract? And not one man said, no, I don't want that. Every man was for it, every single man. Why? Because masculinity is linear. They don't mind to negotiate, they don't mind when something is written down. They actually love that and go for it. So a man knows what is expected of him, he's ready to give it, and instead of him guessing whether a woman is happy or not happy, whether I need to do something else or not do something else, it's much easier for a man to know what is expected of him. It's basically much easier for him to make a woman happy when there is some kind of list of what needs to be done. So I'm all for the contract. I'm all for prenuptial agreement. I think it is an amazing tool for everybody. I think that it needs to be done with every single marriage. Now, but I do believe that the contract has to be, so I don't look at prenuptial agreement as only as a protection of the assets. I look at it as a contract. And the clients, a few of my clients that were recently married, I actually advise them to do the prenuptial agreement with different kind of bullet points. So it's not only about that she's not pretending, that she's not hoping to get some money from a man. It's about what is she getting. So it's not he's protecting himself, it's about how is she protecting herself in this marriage. So I'm all for creating a contract, but that contract should be for a woman, not against a woman. For example, I would put obviously you should seek an advice from a lawyer, from somebody who is really working with that. But this is what I would put. I would put anything that you want. So if, for example, you came from a wealthy family, and in your family there is always help around the house, somebody, maybe housekeepers, maybe a chef, and you expect the same kind of life, you need to put it in the contract that you expect this kind of lifestyle. A man needs to be able to provide. And trust me, if you are coming from this kind of family, this will be your standard, and you will not be afraid or ashamed to ask for it. We're usually afraid to ask for something when we don't even give it to ourselves. So I would put this. I would also put some kind of bullet points on having children. You see, when you have a child, you losing a lot of energy for the creation of the child, and obviously you become vulnerable, you become weaker than yourself, and then when you are caring for the child, you're obviously vulnerable and weak. A man at that moment is not vulnerable, you are. So I would definitely put in how much you're expecting to get from a man every time you have a child. Now, you could not work, you could not support yourself, you could not provide for yourself. You're caring for the child of both of you, so you obviously should have certain expectations. This is normal. It's absolutely normal. So maybe you can get some kind of allowance from him every month or every week or once a year. Maybe you can even have a sum of money that you get as a reward for having a baby. I mean, in 9 months you're creating the child. It really takes a toll on your energy and your mental state. So you are deserving of something, and the normal man will obviously reward you. This is just normal. There's nothing wrong with that. But just to protect yourself, put it in the prenuptial agreement for every kid. And then if you're a stay-at-home mom, obviously you're not working, so how are you going to provide for yourself? You need to make sure that you do have certain allowances, that you do have some kind of savings, that you do have something to provide for you. Now, I would also put something about the cheating clause. I would also put something about in case of divorce, you need to make sure that you and your children are provided. And if you will tell me, well, Anastasia, why are you marrying the guy that's not trustworthy, that you don't trust? Well, this is not true. I would never even have coffee with the guy that I don't trust. I obviously socialize with only people, well, I'm surrounded with people that I trust. So it's not like I would obviously marry the man that I trust, but life is long, and you never know how it could turn out. You see, men right now, they love me because my energy is strong, it's vibrant, it's full of pleasure. Who knows when I will have a child, what kind of energy will I have? Or you never know what might happen. Like in my family, my father passed away and my mom was just left with 3 children. My father never planned it, obviously, and he wanted a big family. So you never know what can happen in your life. So you are protecting yourself and your future children in advance. Remember, prenuptial agreement is a contract, and as I told you, not one man ever told me that he doesn't want it. Any man would happily negotiate and sign and do anything for you as long as you are happy and as long as you are with him. So it is a security that you're providing for yourself. Once that security provided, then you can focus on building the relationship, on getting kind of in a deeper relationship and just growing the family. Now you will ask me, well, you will tell me, well, I'm not wealthy and my husband-to-be is not wealthy either. That's fine. I mean, my clients are not all super wealthy women. I have like middle-class women that just have regular jobs, and their men are, just not as wealthy as they could be. The contract is for everybody. I wouldn't force it on everybody. Why? Because you still need to discuss the kind of day-to-day basics. You see, for example, the most recent kind of client that got married in my surrounding, and I asked her to share this story. She's not extremely wealthy. He's not extremely wealthy. They're just 2 regular people, absolutely. So she put in her. They spoke about it, and she put in her prenuptial agreement that she's not working. They spoke about this. She doesn't want to work if she's married. She wants to kind of create the house. She wants to stay. She wants to put some effort into her hobbies. She wants to do some charity. She just when he agreed to that. He doesn't mind to provide for both of them. He has enough, kind of for their modest living. And this is exactly what she put in. Now, since she's not working, she's not contributing to her pension, to her 401, to her IRA, and he basically he is supposed to contribute this amount to her. Now, I think it's by law he's supposed to. I'm not sure, but this is something that she put in. Also, she put in that he's giving her a particular amount of money every month for her kind of needs. Which is also, they spoke about this. Now she has it in writing. You see, that put a little bit kind of tension on a man. The man knows that he needs to perform because there is a contract in place, and she knows that she's protected, and the man will not just stop working and just leave her hanging there. You see, so as I said, it's prenuptial agreement is relevant to every single person, every single couple. And it's better if you will do the prenuptial agreement before you get married, so then there is no kind of unfinished business. You see, it's much better to finish the business before you married than get married and then start fighting over who gets what and how much money a woman should get. You see, if a woman is constantly thinking, how can I ask my husband for $100 to go buy myself a new sandals? I mean, this is not a life to live. Obviously, he feels like she's lowering herself energetically. He's not as attracted because she's acting like a beggar. You see, and it creates mismatch. There is no respect anymore. So I'm all for prenuptial agreement. I'm all for the contract. Put anything you want. It's better if you will obviously go to a lawyer, or a paralegal, speak to somebody who done this kind of contracts But again, I would put everything that is important for you. The vacations, how much money you get, when in case of divorce, what would be your settlement in case if something happened to him. The guy could be, I don't know, might something happen to him, he might just die, and then what are you going to do with a whole bunch of kids? What if his estate is in, what if he has a will that is basically will and you are not the beneficiary? What if it will be his parents will be beneficiaries? What are you and the kids will be? I mean, what are you going to have? So you need to put all of this in the contract just so you feel secure, and once you feel secure, then you could be feminine self and just enjoy the life with your man. So I'm all for it, and don't feel don't feel any particular way about this. No man will ever argue with you on that. Yeah, it might sound a little comical if you would say, hey, let's have a little contract. He might find it a little funny, but if you will explain to him, if you will show him the reason, he will not be against it. As I said, I know a lot of men, and most of men that are married, they do have some kind of contract with their wives, but those men, I guess, more traditional, and in their cultures, I guess they still do this kind of thing. So these are your standards. You can put them out. A man is not going to leave you just because you want a contract. He might negotiate certain things, but it doesn't mean that he will leave you. He probably will respect you, that you hold your ground. And with respect comes admiration. With admiration comes sexual attraction. He will never want to leave you. So do prenuptial agreement. It's all for you. It's all it's beneficial for both of you. Once you have the prenuptial agreement, a man is obviously knows what he needs to do to make you happy, and it's written in the contract, so it's not like he needs to guess. You can write everything. You can write that you expect flowers every single week or anything like that, and I'm sure the man will not mind. And the good thing about the contract, you can always alter it. So if at one point you will decide that this is not enough or something will change in your life, you guys can draw another contract, and that would be also good for you. So as I know people who have I actually know one couple, they already have four contracts. They're on their fourth prenuptial agreement. Why? Because the husband's business grow, and actually the guy, he offered to alter the contract because he believes that that his wife deserves kind of more, I guess, of the money or something. I'm not sure. So they did alter the contract. They draw a different one. So again, I'm all for prenuptial agreement. I would never say no to it. I would actually ask, and I tell all my clients that I inspired to get married, to have the prenuptial agreement. Not one of them yet broke up with the guy. Not one of them was broken-hearted because the guy said no. Not one of them. And my friends that I suggested to have prenuptial agreement also are very happy. Now I want to make sure that you don't blindly sign whatever a man gives you. Again, prenuptial agreement is an equal contract, so there must be something for you. He might say that I'm not leaving you nothing, just sign and be okay with that. No, never agree to that. You know, you're going to be with the man, you're giving him a lot of energy, whether you want it or not. Men very self-absorbed, very selfish, so to say, and it's good for them. But if you are supporting them with your energy, with your presence, then you need to get something. Never ever sign a contract that doesn't give you nothing. The contract must be mutually beneficial. So yes, maybe if he has millions and millions of dollars, you are not going to hope to get half of them, especially if he inherited it, but you must get something if you are living this relationship after a certain period of time. So maybe you get a particular amount every single year or something, or after 5 years, if the divorce didn't happen within 5 years, you will get something. So something like that. Again, the contract has to be beneficial for you, no other way. I'm all for prenuptial agreement, but I'm all for prenuptial agreement that is beneficial for both, never one-sided. And I have clients who actually signed the prenup long before they knew me. That was not beneficial for them, and now they're basically just sitting and shaking there because They are not sure if they will divorce, whether they will even get anything, and this is not the life to live. You could not build strong, deep relationship if you are afraid, if you could not even trust your man, if you do not believe that he will provide for you in case something will happen. So no, do not sign the prenuptial agreement if it's not beneficial for you. Only when it's beneficial for you, and no man will ever argue with you on that. On that note, that's it. I will see you in the next video. Bye everybody.